dialed in. It's been almost a year since we started this YouTube channel on January 1st of 2019, which is also the same time at which I started making videos with an actual camera and editing videos with a professional editing software such as Adobe Premiere. Watching every tutorial from my favorite YouTubers and filmmakers, and reading every product manual for every single piece of gear that I've purchased. Despite all of that, I'm still not good. I kind of suck at this, actually. Let's get into it. Over the last year, there are a number of issues that have consistently popped up from video to video. The first of which is missing focus, but also just not choosing the right depth of field. To be honest with you, I've never actually manually selected the correct depth of field for the shot that I'm shooting. For example, in the recent gimbal review that I did, I should have chosen a larger depth of field for the final shot where I would have had the gimbal, but also myself in focus. Instead, it was just the gimbal that was in focus. I was blurry, and that all has to do with me just not even checking if it's the right depth of field or if my focus is correct. So there's a number of things that I've done to make sure that I don't miss focus as much going into 2020. The first of which is this wireless follow focus, but that's also not good enough. What you're looking at right now is my new rig for the GH5, but what you see up there is a 7-inch Atomos Ninja Inferno monitor and recorder. Not only will it help me record better, but it's also got focus peaking and a big old monitor that I can see to check if I'm in focus instead of the little flip out screen from the GH5. So that's what I've used to check focus for this video, along with the follow focus Nucleus Nano from Tilta. But what if I'm far away? What if it's a weird angle? What if I can't check focus using this monitor? Got a solution for that as well, which also corresponds with Black Friday. You see that? It's a pretty big screen, actually. This is a Dell 4K computer monitor. They were dirt cheap during Black Friday / Cyber Monday. I will be using this for a lot of monitoring because I'm going to be doing a whole lot more ambitious videos over the next year, and I need to have something that's large and can be placed all the way across the room and still allow me to check the image that I'm recording. Now, my favorite lens to use is this, the Sigma 18-35. Unfortunately, it does not allow the GH5 to even really try to use its autofocus features, which aren't very good. But recently, Panasonic released a firmware update for the GH5 and the GH5S, which will allow me to use autofocus in some scenarios, especially on the Ronin SC gimbal that is now our in-studio gimbal. So between this follow focus, Black Friday sale, this Dell monitor, Black Friday sale, and this monitor atop this rig right now, which is also a Black Friday sale, my focus problem should be solved for the most part. Additionally, I will be selecting the appropriate depth of field for each shot, and I'm gonna add that into like a pre-shot checklist that I should be using going forward. So missing focus, checking your aperture for the correct depth of field based on what you're shooting. The next thing that I want to fix is shooting wide all the time. Usually I have the lens at the widest possible settings so that the camera can be closer to me so that I can fiddle with the settings or see the flippy screen to check my focus. And that's wrong. It's kind of the sign of a rank amateur to be always shooting that wide open. In fact, now that we've punched in a little bit, I think my aperture could be a little bit better. Adjust my focus a little bit, and then we'll raise the exposure to compensate. That's all we gotta do. Just a few things to make it better. So yeah, I don't think that I should be shooting with wide open aperture, wide open focal length all the time. I think that that's showing people, other filmmakers, that I'm kind of an amateur. I kind of don't know what I'm doing. Instead, I wanna select the appropriate focal length and the appropriate aperture for the scenario. Another thing that I really haven't liked about my filmmaking over this last year is my ability to get smooth handheld shots, because I don't want to always have to rely on a gimbal, because gimbals take time, and I'm going to be filming a lot of content over the next year, so I really need to get good at handheld. Luckily, during Black Friday, Small Rig was also running a Black Friday sale, which I use as an excuse to rig up this camera with a whole lot of weight. So this entire rig that you're seeing on top of my tripod in this shot can actually be taken off of the tripod with the monitor and the microphone and the follow focus mounted on it, and it adds a whole lot of weight to my handheld setup. What that does for me is that it smooths out shots, because one thing that makes shots not so smooth is micro jitters. It's very difficult to transfer micro jitters to the camera when the whole setup weighs so much. It'll be a whole lot smoother. It'll look a whole lot more cinematic, because usually when you see handheld shots, there's a gigantic camera in those hands. So solve those issues as well. And I'm gonna be looking to practice at least once a week, getting smoother handheld shots, different techniques, ninja walking, kind of doing the sweep from one leg to the other to kind of transfer it over. Now, some other things I want to fix during the next year that's going to take a little bit longer is planning shots and planning sequences. I've been learning a lot about motivating shots and motivating lights. So why is the shot this way? Why is there a light there? Should there be light coming from that direction? It's difficult to motivate every single shot, because it's like, what am I talking about, a product? Let's get the product. Not a whole lot of complexity there, but I want to spend a lot more time planning out shots, planning out sequences. That does include planning out lighting. I want to be experimenting with lighting a whole lot more, and that's going to add to the time it takes for me to produce each video. So I'm going to be dropping down from 3 videos per week, which I actually haven't been hitting over the holiday season, 2 videos per week plus our podcast, which rounds it out to 3 anyways. That'll give me some more time to plan out more sequences, practice more shots, practice more lighting setups, and really start to figure out this studio around us. I'm gonna learn a lot about what works and what doesn't work in this space, and I'm very excited about all that. I also wanna use more types of shots. I've done a whole lot of learning over the last month about all these different camera movements, what they're called, why they're used, what kinds of emotions they invoke, and I wanna use them. I wanna figure out, videos and scripts and ideas that allow me to practice those kinds of shots. Set design's not a huge problem, but choosing sets could be better. I could be moving around this room more, shooting from different angles, trying out new things, and I don't do that a whole lot. Usually it's the tripod right where it is, the light over here or over here, but I'd like to show you guys more of this studio and get out of my comfort zone. So I'm gonna be adding that to the list of things that I'm gonna be trying out in 2020. And then lastly, scripting. In this video, guys, I shot from the hip, right? I made a list of all the things that I don't like about my filmmaking, and I'm just reading them off my computer here and then talking directly to you about them. That means a lot more pausing, a lot more jump cuts, and just generally a sort of less professional feel to my videos. Whereas some of my favorite YouTubers, DSLR video shooter, Gerald Undone, all these channels, these guys usually use some form of a script where they're not doing so much jump cutting. They're also using other camera angles to hide their cuts. While I don't think that we should be so sensitive to jump cuts, I still think it'd be good if I got better at scripting, if I got better at planning out my videos, knowing what I'm gonna say, and that's going to inform my sequences and my shots a lot better. I'll be able to plan things out and save a lot of time in the creation of these videos, because I know what it's gonna take going into it. The reason that I'm saying all of this to whoever is out there watching is that I wanna be fully transparent. I feel like watching all my favorite YouTubers, watching other people do what they do professionally, it's hard to get a sense of where they feel like failures or where they feel like they could improve and how they improve. And I wanna just show that to all of you guys. I'm not trying to fake the funk here. There's a lot about everything that I do professionally that I don't like, that I do wanna change, and constantly working on it, constantly improving is what makes me a good professional. So I'm gonna continue that trend, and I'm gonna sharing it with you guys wherever it's appropriate. This is what some of my earliest videos that are still online looked like. This is what my videos looked like at the beginning of this year. And this is what my videos look like as of right now. If you have any questions about anything I've gone over, or if there's something that you feel you could improve that you just kind of want to publicly state to give yourself that pressure, let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please like the video, give it a thumbs up, and if it was helpful in any way, please consider subscribing to the channel. We drop 2 times a week now, but they should be better quality. And we've got a treasure trove of videos in this vein that you can check out if you kind of dig the presentation style here. I'll see you in that next video. Peace out. Hey man, definitely turn that off right now. Hey man, for sure stop talking.